What's going on, people? Welcome to 137 Works, and today you're going to be watching some Battlefield 4 footage, strangely enough. Today I just wanted to make a video basically about Battlefield and Battlefield 4 and Battlefield 1 and the future of Battlefield and all these things Battlefield related, basically. The gameplay you're going to be watching is some Conquest Large, I believe, on Silk Road. Long story short, I just really wanted to play Battlefield 4 again. I've been playing a lot of other games, Rainbow Six Siege, Dirty Bomb, kind of messing around here and there with other games, and I had a real strong urge lately to play some Battlefield 4. I hadn't played it in 9 months, would you believe, up until I started playing again earlier this week. And that's pretty crazy for a game that I love so much. So yeah, that's basically the gameplay that you're going to be watching. I get some nice kind of helicopter kills, jet kills. I think there's even a road kill in a jet at one stage. And so a couple of S-Raw kills, S-Raw, Shraw, whatever you call it. And yeah, a couple of like a decent kill streak and stuff. But yeah, basically I played this game, I recorded it, and I got some cool, good, interesting footage, and I wanted to use it. So what better way to use it than to talk about Battlefield? So basically, yeah, I work in a toy shop. I work in the game section of a toy shop, if you don't know. And part of my job is talking to people about kind of games that are like coming out, or games that like people ask me what what would I recommend. They bring a game up to the counter, like, what do you think about this? And anytime Battlefield 1 gets mentioned by a customer, and I have to talk to them about it, I just be honest with them. I'm like, it's good. It's objectively good. I think that's fair enough to say. But it's just not very fun, personally, in my personal opinion. It's just the fact that the guns are inaccurate, the vehicles are slow and sluggish and all that. It's definitely a Battlefield game, don't get me wrong. But because it's set in World War I, you can't have the guns be super laser accurate. You can't have the vehicles and stuff like that be like as clean and clinical and good, I guess is the long and short way of putting it, as you'd like. And so you probably hear me having to tap the spacebar occasionally. I just have to, whenever I speed something up, which is something that I'll do here a couple of times in this video, it lags in my Adobe Premiere thing. So just, if you hear the spacebar, apologies. But yeah, basically, Battlefield 1, just for me, it's definitely a Battlefield game. It's definitely a good game. Like, the maps are good. It's fine. It's just not for me. It's not for me personally. And that's why I've not played it. I have it for free on the Origin Access thing. There's that roadkill there. Don't know how I managed to pull that off. But yeah, like, it's not, every time I reinstall it to try and give it another try, I rage quit and reinstall or uninstall it after like an hour. And it's just always because the guns aren't shooting where you want them to hit. I think there was a patch recently that may have fixed that kind of made the guns overall more accurate. But again, it's not enough to make me want to play it. And here's why. You're watching why. The game, Battlefield 4 is, as I always tell customers, Battlefield 4 started rough. Anybody that played it around the beginning, the first couple of months of its lifespan, knows that this was a rough game. Like, this was not released in anywhere near the state that it is now. It was a pretty poor game to start off with, as far as balance, as far as bugs, as far as netcode and everything. It was very, very poor. But, as I said, what I tell people to this day about Battlefield 4 is that after all the work that DICE and, like, again, Battlefield 4, like, we have the CTE and everything now. Battlefield 4 introduced that, like, the community test environment. After all the work that DICE LA put into this game, it's, in my opinion, the best shooter that I've ever played. Keep in mind, I've played them all. I've played them all from Call of Duty to Rainbow Six Siege. I'm playing currently at the moment. It's very good. All the older Battlefields, whatever. Like, with the exception, I think, of maybe Halo is probably one of the biggest kind of FPS games that I've never really played. Battlefield 4, in my opinion, is the best FPS that I've probably ever played at this stage. And it's a shame that happened, obviously, so late in its life. But like, that's just the way it is. Like, unfortunately, yeah, it is late. It did happen late in its life, but there's a reason that there's still people playing to this day. You can still find completely full servers, 64-man servers, multiples of them, at the moment in Battlefield 4, and that's just a testament to how good how good of a job DICE LA did. There's just something about it. The helicopter controls, you can see here. I have no right to be as good as I am in helicopters. Like, I'm not the best pilot as far as helicopters and jets go, but I can hop into Battlefield 4 just because it's so easy to use and kind of thing, like, just, I don't know, there's a certain indescribable quality to it where it's just like, well, you're watching on the clip here, or on the screen there, me kind of messing up my buttons and accidentally jumping out of the helicopter. But there's just a certain indescribable quality to it. Like, it doesn't matter what, whether it's the maps, whether it's the gameplay, whether it's the guns, the gadgets and everything like that, the customization levels, the fact that there's so many guns and so many options for each gun, but not overpowering, if you get me. Like, there's so many options that like, you can play the game almost any way you want, which is like what a lot of people desire. And that's just, it's one of the reasons that I keep coming back to it. It's like, oh, do I feel like using some crappy Chinese gun with a terrible loadout? Do I want to use the FAMAS with no, like, iron sights and a suppressor and no other attachments? You can do all that, and it's still fun. Like the Operation Lockers, you can play on Operation Lockers. It's again, it's like the Metro of Battlefield 4, basically. And you can play that thing like 24/7. Servers are up there, and you can play it any time of the day or night. And just on the screen here, this next sequence is all in the same life. So again, I do a lot of speeding up here, but starting off with this SRAW hit. Fuck the SRAW nerf, by the way. I put that in at the end. Fuck the SRAW nerf. I cannot believe that they left the game in that state. It actually seriously bums me out that the SRAW is as bad as it is now. Like, but yeah, that's a side note. But yeah, Operation Lockers, like you can just play it for days because the game, like as far as just the mechanics and the gunplay and all that goes, it's just that good. It's like TDM on canals. You can just play that stuff forever, basically, and it just doesn't get boring, in my personal opinion. And that's just that aspect of it. Like, again, whereas when I usually play Battlefield, I do, in all fairness, play typically something like a TDM game. If I go back and play Battlefield 3, it'll usually be it'll usually be Team Deathmatch on canals or something like that. But you can just as easily jump into a full server, a full 64-man conquest server on Battlefield 4 and have everything that you remember from the game from, like, when did Battlefield 4 come out? 2012, 2013, something like that? Like, you can still play the game as if it released yesterday. There is still that many people playing it, and it's, like, it is that enjoyably good. So, basically, I should be done, basically, sucking off Battlefield 4 now. Why do I feel so strongly about Battlefield 4 and not, like, Battlefield 1? I've kind of gone over why I don't like Battlefield 1. What do I hope for the next Battlefield? A lot of people are kind of hinting and guessing and saying that it's going to be Battlefield Bad Company 3. Honestly, whatever the setting is next doesn't bother me too much. I've gone back and played Battlefield 4 a lot. Battlefield Bad Company 2 a lot in the last week or so. Again, just trying to, like, mix things up, get back and, like, play some different games and all. And one of the things that I found, like, Battlefield Bad Company 2 is also still fun to play. There's also still people playing it. If they wanted to make a Battlefield 3, that would absolutely... Or Battlefield 3. Battlefield Bad Company 3, that would absolutely be fine. That's as long as they do it right and they don't, like... Again, it's all about the feel of it. And here's one thing, just like, I guess it's kind of related. One of the things about Battlefield 4 is that on with the community test environment changes that they came up with for the quality of life, I guess you could say, adjustments, there is a lot of work that they did there with the UI, with the interface, with everything related to those kind of things that they just straight up didn't put into Battlefield 1. And I just found that bizarre because you had, like, people from DICE, like Julian, I think, and those guys that handle the CTE, be like, oh, well, it's not as easy as just copy and pasting, and you can't just, like, put the stuff in there, like, afterwards. You can't just transfer from Battlefield 4 to Battlefield 1. Like, he doesn't seem to answer the fact that, but the stuff was already there. Like, you could have already started, like, the ideas were already there. You could have started with that and started Battlefield 1's development with that in mind. You didn't have to transplant anything. You're not trying to, like, I understand that you can't copy over features and expect them to work the same, but they're already there. Like, the ideas are already there, so you can surely implement those ideas from the beginning. And yes, I did just 44 Magnum that helicopter pilot out of the helicopter. He did get me, but still, I'll take the trade in that case. Yeah, like, the ideas were all still there. So if they, again, go back to the next game, what it could be, if it is Battlefield Bad Company 3, that's, again, it's the nice mixture of kind of modern / old / kind of guns, weapons and equipment and stuff like that. If they were to do it, I would have no problem with that. I just do not want the next one to be like World War II. That's for sure. If they do Bad Company 3, certainly they should implement the likes of the CTE changes that they brought in with Battlefield 4. They should not do what they did with Battlefield 1 and just seemingly start afresh. Like, at this stage, the CTE for Battlefield 1, I believe, has put in a lot of the changes. Not all of them by far, but a lot of the changes that the Battlefield 4 had by the time it was over, basically. But there's no... But they should start Battlefield 3 or Bad Company 3 or Battlefield 5 or whatever the next one is going to be. They should start that with those changes implemented, and then they're off to an incredible start. Again, I don't know if this is all synced up properly, but you should have either just seen or are about to see an SRAW damage, not a destroy, not a kill, an SRAW damage, because of that nerf. It kills me inside every single time. Yeah, like, it's just, again, I said this would be ranty. It is a little bit ranty and rambly. Like, I'm trying to get some general points out. Just the game is just very, very good. If you've uninstalled it, if you're playing Battlefield 1, you're not enjoying it, it's still there to be played. There's still, like, as I said, servers and servers of people, and it's good gameplay. Like, these people are obviously Well, I was gonna say they're all like still good because they're obviously going back to play it. Like that's not guaranteed, but the quality of gameplay is still there. The choice and selection is still there. It doesn't matter what game mode you want to play. If you want to play some Conquest, if you want to play some Rush, if you want to play some TDM, it's all there. And it's not just TDM on lockers. It's not just like just Conquest on Silk Road or just Conquest Large on lockers or something like that. There is still a good variety there because the player base is that big because the game is so good. I personally don't believe that Battlefield 1 will have the staying power. That's just me. That's just my personal opinion. I'm sure it's great. I'm sure the people that love it absolutely love it. And again, you can see I accidentally bail out of the jet, but it ends up going pretty well. Once more, fuck this raw nerve. But yeah, like they're just that's basically it. I just wanted to talk about Battlefield for a bit, upload this gameplay because I thought it was really good, and just have high hopes for the next Battlefield game. I hope it's good. Yeah, but that's it. Go back and play Battlefield 4 if you haven't in a while. It's still amazing. If you enjoyed it, please do leave a thumbs up. Subscribe if you're new here. Thanks for watching, and goodbye.